right, let's take a look at the round 6C assignment. So starting off, question number 1, we have Andrews issued $75 million in new long-term debt. What effect, if any, did that have on earnings per share or ROE? Now, my best advice here is remember what these are: earnings per share. And think about the impact that $75 million might have had on either earnings. $75 million in debt might have had on either earnings or shares. Okay, and in this case, I'm not asking you to necessarily do any calculations. Okay, and then the second one is return on equity, or net income divided by equity. And so think again about what an impact of $75 million in new long-term debt, what impact that would have on either net income or equity. I think sometimes we try to make these too complicated. These are very simple. Earnings per share and ROE, they're very simple little ratios that then apply what we know here and see what you think. So 2, forecast demand for AHA next year. Assume all competitors maintain their policies towards R&D pricing and marketing budgets, that all products will maintain their relative competitive positions as of year end. So I'm just asking you, I think we've done, total demand and total demand growth and those things. Break it down here then just to one product and go by what its demand was for this year. Okay, so use its demand for this year to make that calculation. Okay, and again, don't make it too complicated. So you expect that AHA's product, you expect AHA products demand to be X, and then B, how many units of AHA should Andrews produce? And here you got to take into consideration the perhaps inventory, right, that might be on hand. 3, Andrews will have a new design for its product AHA next round that can reduce its material cost per unit from $4.19 to $12.69, so $1.50 less. Assume labor cost per unit remains the same as last round, so $5.18. Also assume that the period cost or fixed cost for AHA will be the same as last round, and I got this from their annual report. $6,753,000. Okay, we can also call those fixed costs. Okay, assume no inventory carry costs at a price of $37. That's a little less than what they charged last year, but we'll update it and say we're going to only charge $37. How many units of AHA will need to be sold for Andrews to break even for that product? So here we're just doing a simple break-even calculation. Okay, and break-even calculations, right, are simply figuring out our gross profit per item and relate that to our fixed costs for that item, assigned cost for that item, whichever you want to call that, but our fixed cost for that item, which is the $6,753,000. Number 4, Chester's equity increased from $46 million, add in the zeros in round 5, to $55 million, a little over $55 million in round 6. What elements contributed to that increase or perhaps detracted from it? Please provide the amount. So you got to look here at the balance sheet. I guess you can see what the increase was, but then you got to kind of look at other statements to figure out what might have contributed. And so this is really, and if you want to look it up, on owner's equity reconciliation, right? Owner's equity reconciliation. If you look in that in an accounting sense, that might help you out here. Okay, and I'll give you a little hint. There's 2 things that added to. Okay, it's equity, and there's one thing that detracted from its equity. So that's a way more help than what I ought to give, but it should give you some ideas about how to proceed. So good luck with the assignment for round 6C.